Isn't it odd that pensions in Canada aren't insured?
It is. It is. We think this has been a big gap in public policy for a long time. For all the important things in our life, we need mandatory insurance. For our house, for our car, for our job, workers' compensation or EI. Unfortunately, sadly, most people can't collect on their EI insurance. But for some reason, for the longest time, apart from the province of Ontario, where there's a minimal insurance system, we don't insure pensions. And at moments like this, we really realize why it's so important to do so.
There is an economic crisis, as you allude to, and there's a pensions crisis being discussed widely. There are several companies in real trouble. How widespread is that pensions crisis?
Well, we definitely think that there are companies on a case-by-case basis that need help. And the federal government's introduced rules to help companies within its federal sector, and many provinces have done the same. What we caution Canadians about, however, is the fact that employers here, much like employers in the United States, are lining up to the bailout trough and trying to shirk their pension obligations. We have research from the corporate sector, which indicates most employers have 18.3 times the financial clout of their pension liabilities. 18.3 times, and this is a report from November. We also know that employers for many, many years have been building up surpluses on their balance sheets so they could play in that stock market gamble, that financial economy.
This is money that they might be using for pensions, and they're saying that they don't have to use on pensions.
That's right. So we're talking about money that ought to be going into pensions that was being diverted elsewhere for financial investments, for executive compensation. We don't know. But the fact of the matter is Canada is a wealthy country. Even today, many of our major employers in this country have well-funded pension plans. What they're trying to do right now is to game the bailout. They're trying to get involved in this situation where everybody is fearful of their pension security and shirk their pension obligations. And what we're telling the federal government is that they cannot allow employers to bail themselves out of pension promises they've made to retirees and to workers.
There's a federal discussion paper that is out there and appears to be fast-tracked that is floating ideas that would indeed allow employers more flexibility, I guess they're calling it. What's your view of that, and what are you hearing from Canadians about that?
We're really troubled by the federal discussion paper, and when we've been involved in the consultations the federal government's had for the last month, we've brought our members out to those consultations to speak during the open mic periods to express their fears. We are worried that some of the policies that are proposed in the federal government's discussion paper would weaken pension funding rules, would change the accounting standards, and essentially create fictitious capital in pension plans to make them seem well-funded when they really aren't. They would allow employers to divert pension money into other aspects of their operations. And at a time when we see executive compensation out of control, when we see people more worried about their pension plans than ever before, now is not the time to weaken pension rules and allow employers more access to money that should be guaranteeing pension promises.